Hey everyone, it's been a minute. Yeah, I know. But things happen, life happens, and then you just loop back to what you're meant to be doing always. So here I am making a video. And if there's something that you really want to do, and you always find yourself thinking about it, desiring it, you just have to start. Just begin somewhere. Get out of your head and just do. Think less, do more. That's where I'm at with it. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about death cycles. And I'm going to be sharing with you 5 signs that you might be going through a death cycle. So in order to be reborn, we have to die. This is a very universal understanding in nature, in life, in the human experience. Like, you cannot avoid this. But it's important to understand that as we grow and evolve as a person, we die many times. You know, our personality, our persona, our ego, our perceptions of this world, of ourselves, these things are constantly changing. But this change can be equated to a death because we have to release it in order to receive and become what is more relevant to us at this point in our life. So let's begin. Sign number 1 that you could be going through a death cycle. There's no resonance or connection with people and places and the things around you. So with this, it's like there's a very clear disconnection between your environment, your friends, your family, the people you have surrounded yourself with most of your life. There's a very clear disconnection where you don't feel a sense of belonging, of connection. You don't really feel heard. You don't feel understood. It kind of feels like you're like talking to a blank wall. You don't feel any type of nourishment within yourself after connections with people or places. You have like a yearning and desire for something more, something different, for change. Number two is isolation and solitude. Whether this is intentional or unintentional, when you're going through a death cycle, you end up just spending a lot more time with yourself because you are trying to make sense of things. Naturally, like on a subconscious level that a big shift is occurring. And when we don't really understand how to support ourselves properly, we naturally become more introverted. We go more into hermit mode. So we can begin to just kind of self-reflect and possibly put the pieces together. And when you're going through a death cycle, like, it's kind of messy, you know, like you can be like more emotional, like maybe not as fun or lighthearted. So naturally you just draw more into yourself. But then also on a energetic level, God isolates people for a reason. This isolation is preparation. The isolation helps you to really get clear on yourself, your character, your priorities, and most importantly, what needs to change. When you're constantly around people and doing things and at events and dating and doing this, it's a distraction. Those are forms of distraction. Yes, they're so great. It's amazing. I'm not saying don't do those things. But when you're in a crucial time of change in your life, solitude serves a specific purpose. And it helps you to purify your thoughts. It helps you to purify what you think that you need and what you like and what you want. It helps you to come closer to the next version of yourself that is more in alignment with evolution, with growth, and with who you really want to become. So number three is negative thought patterns, being stuck in negative loops within your mind, having anxious thoughts of doubt, thoughts of fear, not enoughness, things that make you feel heavy. So when we're going through the death cycle, we have heavy thoughts because a lot of our mental programming is now coming to the surface. And these beliefs have came from many different places throughout our life, you know. In our minds, the things that we think and believe were picked up on through life experience with time, whether that was through our parents, through school, through social media nowadays, the news, society. Like, there's so many things that are constantly programming our minds. And when it comes to beliefs about the world, about ourselves, about love, about these foundational things in life, if it's not rooted in a place of love, if it's not rooted in a place of godliness, of righteousness, of truth, of expansion, it's going to come to the surface in this time, because it's coming to the surface to be addressed, to be cleared, and to be renewed with something more nourishing for your spirit and for your life path. So of course it sucks, you know, when you're already going through a hard time in your life, you're in isolation, nothing feels good anymore, the people that you hang out with, it's not really doing it for you, you know, you don't really like your environment, and then on top of that, the negative thoughts and the heavy thoughts fucking sucks. It's hard, it's tough, but it's all with a purpose. This is almost like a, you know, like before a video game, like the end of the level, like it's the hardest part. That's where you are at when you're in a death cycle, because you're about to have a breakthrough, you're about to have a rebirth, and all these things are coming to the surface to strengthen you, to strengthen your mind, strengthen your spirit, purify, and come back into a place of alignment, aligning your mind, body, and spirit for this next version and level of yourself. So the negative self-talk and the negative looping thoughts, it can be very challenging to deal with, especially if it's overpowering. And one of the best things that you can do is just not fully give into that, you know, like really you have to have a practice of reminding yourself as often as you can that those are not your thoughts, those are not your beliefs, those things are not true. That's where you begin to reprogram, when you start to let go of the charge of the negative emotions and you replace it with something that actually is in alignment with yourself, something that actually feels good within your mind, within your spirit. So when the negative thoughts are happening, I know it's easier or harder said than done, easier said than done. You have to remind yourself, like, I am not my thoughts, and the thoughts are going to come, they're going to go. Good thoughts come, they go. Bad thoughts come, they go. It's a continuous process and cycle in life if you have a mind. But in this time of the death cycle, when these negative thoughts are coming up, take notes. Be very observant. Don't take it lightly. They're coming up for a reason. These feelings are coming up for a reason. And sometimes these loops and these thoughts, they're coming from very old versions of ourselves, whether that was childhood trauma, teenage trauma, parental things, generational things. It's purposeful. And I love making these types of videos because I don't talk about things just to talk about it. I speak about it because I'm speaking through experience. Whether I already went through it or I'm currently going through it, I speak from experience. So as I'm saying this, I'm talking to myself as well. And this is a powerful reminder. So one of the best things you can do when you're going through shit and you want to make a change is implement a schedule, implement habits with a time, and you do it repetitively every day. So if you're someone that is stuck in the negative looping thoughts, you need to have a journaling, something set up to journal daily, or to meditate, or to do breath work in order to clear that energy from your mind. There's one book called The Artist Way, and this was an exercise to remove blockages from the creative mind. And what you do is when you wake up in the morning, within like the first hour of waking up, you just free flow 3 pages in your journal. Don't think about it. You don't try to sound any type of way or make it sound poetic or this and that. It's just a free flow. There's a word for it. Conscious, stream of consciousness. Just writing, letting it out. And when you let it out onto paper, what it helps to do is to release the charge within your mind later on in the day. If you're getting it out on paper, that's already one like release of energy of those thoughts and feelings. So a journaling practice can be very helpful if you're stuck in negative thoughts. And also affirmation can be very, very healing. And just reminding yourself, like, I'm not my thoughts. I'm going to be okay. The rebirth is coming. And just really breathing in things that bring you a sense of hope. Because sometimes in the death cycle, like, you can lose hope because it becomes dark, it becomes heavy, it becomes hard. It's not easy. It's really not easy. So that's why you really need to do what you can in order to stay afloat mentally and spiritually. And we do this through things that raise our vibration. And affirmations are a really good way to raise our vibration. So number 4 is our view of life changes. We don't feel the same conviction and like attachment to what we once really believed about life. So basically, our perception of life is deeply changing. What we once really believed and held on to is now a bit invalidated. So we kind of look at life like, what the fuck? Like, what really is this? What are all these people here on earth doing? Like, what is my purpose? Like, you start to recognize a lot of things on a deeper level that most people don't. Most people never really change their belief and perception about this world. But for an evolved being like you, are constantly going through these death and rebirth cycles of changing your perception. And the reason why we do this is because our perception of life and reality is not always rooted in a place of truth. Sometimes we believe things about ourselves in this world from a place of ego. We believe things about ourselves in this world from a place of control and of preference and of just not so much of the truth of life, which then blocks us from experiencing the truth of life. So this is also very much connected to the experience of a dark night of the soul, which is usually triggered by a traumatic event, which then pushes you into changing, like letting go of your beliefs of the world. And then you kind of go through like an ego death. And this ego death pushes you to change your perception of the world and to come closer to a more unified, balanced, holistic perception of the world, coming from not so much from yourself, but more from the universal truths of life. Number 5. This one is a tough one. No one can really help you. As much as we are yearning and seeking for a savior, for a person or a thing or an opportunity to come to save us from this heaviness, from this death cycle, from this grieving, from this confusion, from this darkness, as much as we want that, nothing is really doing it for us. And you might go through phases where the things that you once looked for comfort, for validation, for hope, it's not doing it for you. And that's where things start to shift, and you really begin to build a specific type of strength that only comes from within yourself. And we recognize that on an accelerated path, you are everything that you need. A lot of the times, other people's advice and information could just lead us off our path even more. You know, it's good to talk to people, to listen to people, but at the end of the day, like, you know what is best for you. Your connection with your higher self, with God, with the universe, with what you really feel deep inside of you beyond like ego, not the feelings of ego, but the feelings of like deep, like knowing and intuition. That is what you're meant to listen to. So as we go through the death cycle, we are being taught this. We're being taught to truly rely on ourself, because the savior is self. If we rely on other things and other people to make us feel good and pull us up when we're down, we become dependent. We become weak. Strength comes from really having reliance on you and God. No physical thing, no person or substance or thing that makes you feel good. We begin to cut that out, and we begin to realize that I am what I need. I am what I've always needed. And within me is the answer. Within me is the medicine. Within me is the ability to have patience, to allow this process to unfold and teach me. Within me, I have everything I need to be rebirthed. I have the strength to go through the death in order to be rebirthed. And most importantly, within me, I have the faith to trust and to believe in myself and to lean on myself in times where there's not really anyone else to lean on. And there's nothing worse than looking for help from outside of you and being met with more resistance, or being met with information or things that just don't resonate. You know, it leaves you feeling more empty. So we have to go within to fill ourselves, to really like gas up the car within ourselves. You know, sometimes when we're going through the death cycle, it's like a car on empty and we're just like struggling, and the motor's about to give out and the hood is smoking. It's like struggling, you know. But when we can rely on ourselves, we learn to tune up ourselves, we learn to clean up ourselves, we learn to revamp ourselves in whatever way is necessary, because we know what is best. We always know what is best. So I just want to remind you guys that the death cycle is not easy. Ooh, it's not easy, and there's levels to this shit, you know. Like the deeper you go, I guess the harder the climb to get out. But it is so purposeful, you know. It's so purposeful, and you have to remind yourself that that's really what will get you through, is reminding yourself the purpose, and that after the death there is a glorious rebirth, and you will reap the rewards of the work that you did in this point in time, you know, of being so to yourself, of sitting through the uncomfortable thoughts and not having connection with people and things, and changing your perception of life. Like, those things are not easy, but it's the real work of this life, the foundational work of this life. So I truly pray, and I really hope that whoever's watching this video, if you are going through a death cycle or have before or feel one coming, I pray that the tools necessary come to you so clearly. And I pray that you remember the medicine that you hold within yourself and the strength that you hold within yourself, and that creating your desired reality when it comes to living the life you want to live, when it comes to abundance, when it comes to genuine love and partnership, when it comes to exploring the worlds and just creating, being a powerful creator, you can do it. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of becoming the person who is able and willing. You have the energy within you. You have the consciousness. You have the love. You have the ability. It's all here. It's all always been here. So may this death cycle gift you with a glorious rebirth, coming closer to your true self, to your higher self, and to genuine bliss and peace. I really pray for peace of mind for myself and for the people of this world, to let go of the grip of the negative thoughts and the hold that the negative feelings can have over us and our spirit. I pray for purification for you, for your family. I pray for you to feel genuine connection to yourself and to those around you, and just to be guided to where you are really meant to be in alignment with your environment, the people around you, the things that you're doing, and most importantly, to have a beautiful, thriving relationship with yourself. So that was the 5 signs of a death cycle. I hope you enjoyed. Much love, many blessings. And by the way, I'm currently in a death cycle.